Okay, we are doing an ongoing series on the seven trials of Rabbi Shaul, better known as Paul, and this is going to be part 2. I'm Brian Stevenson, and you can find out more information about our organization at www.beityeshua.net. Okay, as we mentioned, we are continuing our series. This is going to be Paul's trial number 2, and the venue is going to be the temple. We'll do a little bit of review so you can see how we got to this point. And we'll be reading mostly from Acts chapter 21 through 22. Okay, and so before we get started, we'd like to read what's called the Pauline disclaimer, and it's from 2 Peter 3:15 through 17. Peter obviously knew Rabbi Shaul quite a bit better than we do today, and he was closer to the facts. And so 2 Peter, count the patience of our Lord as salvation, for as our beloved brother Paul also wrote to you according to the wisdom given to him, as he does in all his letters, when he speaks of these matters, there are some things in them that are hard to understand. So you need to beware, because you could read Paul and have a hard time understanding him, even though you think that you do, which the ignorant and unstable twist to their own destruction, as they do the other scriptures. You, therefore, beloved, knowing this beforehand, take care that you are not carried away with the error of the lawless, in other words, Torahless ones, lawless people, and lose your own stability. Okay, so basically, again, he's warning us that people will twist and were twisting his scriptures, and that leads people to the error of lawlessness. Okay, as I mentioned before, we'll do just a very quick review. Paul came back into town after his missionary journeys and met with the elders in Jerusalem, including Yaakov, who you may know as James. And basically, they reviewed what they had done, and Yaakov says, do you see how many tens of thousands of brethren here? And they are all zealous for the Torah. And then it was rumored that Paul was teaching against the Torah, teaching people to apostatize against it, and also to quit having the circumcision. And so to prove those rumors were false, he agreed to take a Nazarite vow, or fulfill his Nazarite vow, and pay for the animal sacrifices for 4 other men, which gives us a total of 5 for the number of grace that would witness that he indeed, it says, kept in line with the Torah. See part 1 if you want a little bit more in depth. So now we're at the temple. He is actually going ahead with this to prove that he kept the Torah, that he was indeed in line with it. And so that kind of sets the stage for trial 2. Okay, so now this brings us to where we're at in the narrative in Acts 21, starting in verse 27. We have the 7 days were almost up when some of the unbelieving Jews, those are Jews that do not accept the Messiah, from the province of Asia, saw him in the temple, and they stirred up all the crowd, and they grabbed him, and they said, "Men of Israel, help!" They shouted, "This is the man that goes everywhere, teaching everyone things against the people," number 1, against the Torah, number 2, and against this place, so against the temple. And now he has even brought some of the goyim, or this is another word for Gentiles, into the temple and defiled the holy place. So they're also accusing him of defiling the holy place, because they had previously seen him with the Gentiles from Ephesus in the city with him, and they just assumed that Shaul had brought him into the temple. So now we have 2 different situations here. Paul has been accused formally by the believing Jews in part 1, we saw that he was accused by the believing Jews, and now he's being accused by the unbelieving Jews. Okay, so let's review these particular charges that were just leveled after him. Number 1, that he's against the people, or he's anti-Jewish, would be another way to put that. Number 2, he is against the Torah. He's anti-Torah, or an antinomian, as it reads in the scriptures in the Greek. And then number 3, the final charge is that he's against the temple. It's interesting that in the first trial, he was accused of basically some of these same things. An informal trial among the Council of Jerusalem, the Messianic Sanhedrin, if you will. And now he's being accused of these same things by the unbelieving Jews. What is incredible is that these are the same accusations leveled against him by the modern church. They basically say he is anti-Jewish, he is anti-Torah, he is anti-temple. He does teach against these things. And so in these two trials, either he's lying in these trials or he's lying in his letters. And it's interesting that nobody brought forth any of his letters to say, yeah, he did say these things. Look, here's a copy of a letter he wrote to the Galatians, and we can prove it. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at how he responds to these charges.